Hello, Self. Hello, Cosmos. Hello, Ohana. Soul Dr. Nick here. It is March 3rd, 2025. This is Magic Mirror Work. It's going to be an interesting edition. It's the first one post breakthrough experience. And I've got a new gimbal, and I'm excited, and I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. For a reminder, this work is really for me, by me, through me, to me, as me. And it's not really for public consumption, like maybe an AI summary, something else like that. Maybe it'll be useful for generative AI. And maybe if you're really weirdly wanting to, you're welcome to watch this. There's nothing stopping you. It'll be posted whenever it's posted. And my commitment is to do this daily. I had started about 12 days before the end of January, so it's been about a month and a half now. And my intent right now is probably to continue this for the end of the year. To record at least something every day, because it keeps me accountable to creation. Whether it gets posted or not, that's a little bit more loose. And part of it is a reminder to me, I want to create, I want to be in the sharing mode, I want to be in the teaching mode, I want to be in the self-development. And I may not always be on top of sending things out. So as I'm doing this, my reminder is this is for me, through me, by me, to me, as me. And so I'm going to bring over the Demartini manual and actually take a look at what I want to look at today. So 1 second. And what's really cool is that this is able to track me through the native app, and it may have trouble tracking me because it's going to get dark over here. And we'll see if it does keep tracking me, and if it doesn't, that's okay. I think it lost me for a little bit, and that's okay. But having this DJI mic means that I can still hear myself on the recording. And that's part of it. I love all this new technology I'm stepping into, and I'm trying not to stay attached to it. All right, so because it lost me, it recentered back to home. I don't know if it stopped the video or not. Let's see, we're learning. It did not stop it, that's good. So we're to 2 minutes in. Just got my water, got my drink, got the book. And I've got the book in 2 ways. One is How to Make One Hell of a Profit and Still Get to Heaven, Dr. John Demartini. Interesting, that's the book that popped up. Not the one I was thinking of right now. I was thinking of going through the breakthrough experience stuff. All right, so I'm going to take a look at the breakthrough experience manual. Look at the table of contents, if there is one, there is. Look towards the end, because I want to look at how I can make the most of this method. That's what I really want right now. And it's going to take a while to search the PDF. And I'm doing it this way because my light right now is shining on me. And I don't want to turn on more lights, although I could. That could be part of it, is turning on some more lights. And it's funny because I can actually hear noise coming from the spare bedroom, which means that this room and the guest suite are fairly close. So being a little cautious of the noise that I create, especially in the morning in here, is going to be important. It's so interesting how thin the walls are here. My reminder is these buildings, it makes zero sense. Let's see here. How to get the most from this program. All right. Oh wow, it's very small. I can't do it sideways. Upon arriving home to your office, type on the computer, word processing program, iPad, or cell phone the following: my purpose statement, my love list, and my affirmations, words of power. All right, so the purpose statement I hadn't fully created. And so that's something I need to fully create again, over and over again, and get really clear on, because I want that to be there. It's a little distracting hearing people in there at this time of the day. It's kind of crazy. Write your purpose statement. So I recorded my purpose statement. I haven't written it down yet. And I could take a look at that on the computer. That's a piece. Yeah, let's just read that out. So 1 second, I'll be back. It's going to track me and it's going to lose me, and that's okay. All right. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was coming back or it noticed me walking back. That's all right. So, purpose statement, third draft. Let's take a look at that one then. And I, Nicholas Hogar Wong, hereby declare before myself and others and God that my primary purpose in life is to be a soul doctor, first for myself, then for all those around me by teaching, serving, guiding, facilitating. And I will do this through taking the highest priority actions every day, including taking the time for myself to explore, to do the magic mirror work, to grow, to do the DeMartini method, to practice affirmations, to look at my life, master life plan, to continue to hone in and be clear on what it is that I can most deliver into the world and practice delivering it. Right now, through my Ohana Sage and Ohana Breath companies with my founding partners, Marika and Matt, and eventually that will continue to expand, and I'll set up automatic systems for the intake, for the support, for the sustainable fair exchange, for the savings of at least 10% into investings and growing of assets, and the delegation of how to manage not just the money, but also the areas of life that are my lower priority actions, but are so important and very high in the value, especially of those of my beloved and those that I care about. Because I want to keep growing my biological family, as well as growing my Ohana, my spiritual family. And I will also share what I learn as quickly as possible, and as thoroughly as possible, and as completely as possible, so that I can contribute to the collective wisdom of the world. And I will have wealth in all 7 areas of life, already recognizing that life is perfect and I am so wealthy, and I continue to welcome and invite in more wealth and manage it as well as I can, and give it purpose and flow and clear direction, so that I can create not just for the next 10 years, decades, but for the generations and lifetimes to come. I do this not because I want to hold on to it all and say it's mine. Rather, I'm getting clearer and clearer on my message, and by creating more wealth, I can spread that message more clearly and really found the school of unlearning. Interesting. I can feel the tension in that, but I'm really glad I read it out loud and that I'm being with that purpose statement. The love list. So the love list is significantly longer. And my affirmations, words of power. And it's a practice. So let's see how this goes. So my love list. Let's see here. Trying not to get too confusing. And, oh yeah, I already checked the microphone, it's working. All right. First, I'll take a look at the vocational side of things first, be, do, and have. And thanking all the facilitators for helping complete the process today. So on the vocational side, be, do, and have. Oh yeah, finished in 30 minutes, there we go. I want to be a master teacher, guide, facilitator, medicine man, traveling the world, transforming lives, studying for the most inspiring people that I want to find at any one time and place, and at the pace that I want to be at the edge of challenge and support. I want to be sought after. I want to be able to impact the one as powerfully as impacting the many, and being so excited when I have the opportunity to impact many people at once, and being so excited when I get the opportunity to impact one person at a time, and being able to impact those I most desire to impact for the greatest effect, and the greatest effect I want to leave on the world, a better place, and to impact leaders of leaders, a leader of facilitators, leader of guides, and at the same time being able to keep seeking the leaders and guides that I want to seek. And it's funny, I realized I was getting in my head. All right, let's get to the doing of this vocational aspect. Doing is actually doing exactly this thing right now, doing the breakthrough experience. I'm doing the training. I'm doing the creation of a business. I am creating Ohana Sage, Ohana Breath, and doing the milestones. I'm doing the planning, I'm doing the hiring, I'm doing the founding, I'm doing the creation of this team that's coming together. I'm doing the visions and willing the speed of my life. I'm also creating the easy, lucrative, fun ways to bring together a team to travel, to explore, to grow, to be safe, to be courageous, to be in wonder and in joy, to be in gratitude, forever being an inquisitive explorer, a seeker of wonder, a seeker of experiences, and an integrator of experiences, a balancer of experience, a harmonizer of experience. And finding that harmony between seeking adventure and growing the foundation and making the foundation really solid so that this can exist with or without me. It doesn't depend on me. I enhance it. I do not make it dependent on me. And what would I like to what would I like to have? I'd like to have financial freedom from this work, knowing that I can create this no matter what. Knowing no matter what my asset base is, I always have the opportunity, the ability to create easy, lucrative, fun work again. And having a team that really wants to work with me and that we feel like this Ohana is a family. And some may come, some may go, and many will stay, and we get to build and deepen our relationships, deepen them through all the different ways that we work together. That we challenge each other at the edge of challenge support. And I like to have the recognition of people that I admire. People I love and people I care about, not the recognition of strangers. I don't need the recognition of strangers. I like to have something that's sought after, something where I am kept in my highest and best, where I get to have all the trainings, where I get to have all the support, where I get to have the challenges that actually drive me to the next level, not just the challenges that are there because they're supposed to be there with the old patterns. So that was vocational. And so these are all the first drafts. They're really rough. I'm reading the dictation part of voice memos in Apple as well. So feeling the discomfort of being with this, which is fantastic because I'm standing on the edge of comfort, discomfort. I'm sharing what's there right now. I'm sharing it really rough. Someday I look forward to seeing these so clearly. It's kind of like my room right now. The room that I was in where I created the Demartini experience. Super rough now, super messy. And I look forward to a future office where I definitely have someone coming in after me to help clear it up every single day. Because I would like things cleared up every single day. So let's go to family next, and then looking at spiritual family. So I like to be a father, be the father I want to be a loving, kind, firm father, be a husband, man, a son, a brother, be a leader in the familial home, be living in a home wherever I am, and feeling at home and comfortable wherever I am in the world. It's like having the most comfortable ass in the world. No matter what chair you sit on, it feels like the most comfortable chair in the world. And that's the hilarious thing. It's like, oh, that was Cyanide and Happiness, a weird video where it's like, oh, I have the most comfortable ass in the world. Anywhere I sit is the most comfortable seat ever. And being the kind of father that will inspire others to want to be fathers, not some fantasy, but the reality that I'm going to learn from the children, learn from the brothers, learn from the parents, learn from the generations before and afterwards. That's the biggest thing of being in a family. It's that every single person is a teacher, whether younger or older, whether they're wiser, whether they're stupider, whether they're making mistakes or they're getting just right. Learn from that. And then in the learning, play and have play and wonder, because if I keep playing, if I don't keep playing, why would we spend time together? So it's keeping playing, because then it's just fun to spend time together as family. And realizing and just take a moment to highlight, that's one of the things I really learned from Brent when he told me that they went and they hiked together. I was like, oh, I want to have more adventures together as a family. And I recognize that's what my mom's trying to do. And I'm not sure how to create it all and do it all yet. So, and fantastic. Continue to develop relationships where there's more and more trust, because trust is that currency. Building that currency of trust and the cycle of trust, and noticing when the cycle of trust gets broken, and then resolving it as much as possible internally with their own family structure, rather than having to seek out external laws, seek out external structures. We're going to keep bringing back in and bringing back whenever it's possible. That's part of the idea of having that whole private ministerial association as well. And what I'd like to have, I think, several children who are very supported in their upbringing. So right now, we have one. If we can make it really supportive, then I'd like to have several. I'd like to have very close relationships where we're having these places and times where we actually get to say what our favorite things are. We get to read stories, we get to play, we get to travel together. So that's, I'm not just trying to create a bigger family. I'd like to have family vacations that are actually fun and exciting and adventurous and new and novel. There's not a rush. It's not an escape. It's spacious. I like to have work and play and family be so intertwined that work and spirituality and family be so intertwined that I don't have to sacrifice one for the other. It's each one enhances the other, inspires the other. And there's a knowingness of enhancement that everyone wants us to have all three working in union, working in communion. All right. And then we come back to that's what I'd like to have in the family. Yes, the spiritual, family, and business. And the financial piece is the fourth piece to always remind myself, because I can easily forget it, even forget it here, to be working in communion with each other. Because the other places will play. Like when I have all these come in communion, the physical part comes in, because I just want to be able to be the very best version of myself, to be the kind of Bruce Lee, the kind of Kyle Kingsbury, the physicality. So Kyle actually falls into physical as well as familial. And have that flow. And then the social part of it, and then the mental part of it. Yeah, because I'm going to be mentally fit, because I want to be and need to be mentally fit for all those things to work. Okay. So, the guides and the masters. All right, so I'm going to go into spiritual. Got it. What would I like to have? I like to be like the enlightened, grateful. That initial list, that list of words: transcendental, loving, grateful, inspired, enthusiastic, certain, and present. And present right now is my main guiding post. It's my peace. And continue to take whatever feels complex and make it more simple, just to be in the moment and be in the experience of these words, rather than the definition of these words, rather than someone else approving me of these words. Just be. And what I do, I would like to choose the most meaningful courses, retreats, experiential opportunities, and continue to dive in and learn from these guides and the masters. And these guides and the masters, and then John, I think, starts to speak. Oh yes, I just need clarity of a different kind. What I like to do, I like to guide, lead, teach, listen. I like to learn to channel and meet extraterrestrials. I like to have experiences. More channeling experiences, loving experiences, gratitude experiences, certain experiences, present experiences, enthused experiences that I'm meant to have in this lifetime. I like to have this life right now, and I choose out of this second to have it in this lifetime. And I like to have all the supporters, the family that wants to travel the spiritual journey with me, around me, and the loving presence that when they come and when they go, they go. We don't need to hoard everything, even the people and the experiences. All right, so that was, I think I started with vocational, then I went to family, then I went to spiritual. So those are the three main ones. And then I imagine I went to, I went to mental first. Okay, just to play. So noticing this again, because I want to keep financial up there. But I'm going to go in the order of this because this order of this transcription is what I'm trying to practice on, and reminding myself again, because there's a part of myself that's like, oh my God, I'm taking too long. Like, I'm taking too long for who? This is magic mirror work for me. This isn't for someone else. This isn't to please someone else. Even though as I'm looking at myself and looking at this, I'm like, oh, but I'm recording. I've got to make this for someone else then. And then this is my practice, because when I am actually delivering this in a course, I want to make it for someone else. I want to focus both on my experience and the experience of the other. But in this moment, I'm practicing getting all of this out and getting more and more clear, and reminding myself, if I keep doing this, I have the space and time for myself. And that's what I want in this lifetime, the space and time for myself to be with, because it's such an amazing experience just to start contemplating, to look deeper into what's going on, what's clicking in these gears, and I can notice myself getting a little tired, and that's good, because I wanted to go back to bed right away because I knew I was tired, but I couldn't until I started doing some work. And so I'm doing the work, and then I can go back to bed now. So, all right, so mental. I like to be highly intelligent. I like to be clever. I like to be clear. I like to be known for my ability to decipher complex issues and bring simplicity to it, and not always needing to explain the story behind how it happened and inspire others to do their own version of it. I don't always need to show the work, because the work just wants to get done. And what do I need to do? Read voraciously and learn even better how to educate myself, learn in the more efficient ways that feel good. I don't want to just rush it and learn how to speed read, but I want to learn how to learn better and learn from the greatest teachers, such as Dr. Demartini, and to synthesize their synthesized information. That's one of the cool things about seeing that AI learning from other AIs. It's like, that's totally makes sense. The piece that's there, though, that they don't highlight is what parts of another AI to learn from. And that's the discernment that comes from all the experience. And the discernment comes from the lens of, what do I want to learn, versus what's the best to learn, versus what are the universal laws to learn. And there's so many different layers, and to notice when I'm oscillating between them, because there were some universal laws we spoke to, and the universality of the laws is still human. So sometimes I'm like, universal and not universal at the same time. So just a thought. Okay, anyways. Okay. That there's a more efficient way to do things, and take the synthesis from those who synthesized in a way that I really respect and look up to, and realize that every one that I learn from, I take 80% maybe, and leave 20%, or I take 20% and leave 80%, whatever serves. It's not about taking all of it. And then as I'm learning, I'm teaching at the same time, and teaching quite quickly after I learn, because it helps to solidify the foundation, the information that I'm learning, and to be courageous enough to share what I learned from the place where I may not have full clarity right away, knowing that it keeps getting better and better and better. I'd like to have a privileged and high culture life for the sake of fulfillment of this lifelong quest. Have stimulating conversations, have people who I want to actually be around and have these stimulating conversations, and have the minimal number of unstimulating conversations, only enough to remind me to practice stepping away from that, which isn't serving me. Okay, and it's getting clear in that discernment, because sometimes it's like, oh, this is where I need to be, but I'm getting better at walking away from, whether it's a conversation, whether it's a relationship, and noticing when I'm running away because it's uncomfortable, versus I'm stepping away because this doesn't feel like it's serving me. So why just stay here just out of the norms of politeness now? All right, so in the areas of creating wealth, in the financial world. So I like to be a person who's known for creating wealth, a wealth generator, someone who's got the Midas touch and who spreads the wealth freely and abundantly in the ways that serve, and who's amplified their voice with the wealth that they've already created and the wealth that is creating the legacy for decades, years to come, centuries to come. What do I have to do? I'll be creating systems that automate the savings and investing side of wealth, starting at $100 a month when I start creating income in the business, and continue to increase it as a percentage of what I'm making, ideally at least 10% of what I'm making, and spreading it amongst different managers, whether it's passive or active or Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies or in real estate, and learning ever more ways to diversify it so it's truly as bulletproof as possible, as solid as possible to serve us in the best way possible, creating more and more compounding wealth, learning from the best managers, teachers, coaches, asset managers to guide this wealth to better places, and also learning about the sovereignty and trust and stepping outside the system, outside of any one country that could shut it all down. I like to have so much passive income that I can support my entire biological family and all that we want to do, and then spread it out to the Ohana and spread it out to the causes that are meaningful, investments that are meaningful, and continue to layer this on as we see fit, and actually choose to play and be wise and have fun supporting adventures that feel important to us. I like to be the best. Okay, yeah. So that's the being, having, doing of the wealth. So important. And I can already see getting to the point where it's like, okay, how do I now not just hold on to a number to say I have a number? How do I spread out amongst those I really love and trust? And trust that that's happening. And how do I do it in a way where it can continue to gift? I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's my own cash and I gift it to someone else for no other reason than just to gift it. How does that work? And it feels really weird that it has to all be tracked afterwards. Like that you can't keep taking out more and more cash and then it's money laundering then. It's almost like they just want to be able to keep track of where it goes. And part of that may be, I'm just imagining right now, it's buying the physical assets and then just losing them, right? If you lose the physical assets, then you lost the physical asset. And that's okay. Continue to buy physical assets and losing them. So all these different ways of thinking about things. Thinking about things. Okay. Let's see here. Social. I want to be a leader. I want to be invisible when I want to be and super visible when I want to be. Oh, I love that it actually transcribed that. I want to be able to be a chameleon, a master disguiser whenever I want to be as well. What I want to do, I want to observe what do I have to do? Observe the interactions of people. I will listen more than I'll speak. I'll ask really high quality questions of myself and others. I'll learn from the people who really matter, who are really master socializers, whether it's a vocal coach, a singing coach, a touch coach, coaches and guides for each skill that I might want to level up on, and a dance coach for sure. I love to learn how to dance and be more proficient at the dancing and selection of food and eating and living a really good cultured life. I like to have amazing people around me and surround myself over and over again in the social circles that elevate the experience of transcendence, love, gratitude, certainty, enthusiasm, presence, and inspiration. And those circles I want to be surrounded by consistently to keep reinforcing that, because that's what it is. You are the product of the people you surround yourself with. So continue to surround myself with people that inspire me. All right. So in the physical realm, I like to be in a body that always feels as young as it is now, or younger, more limber, more able to have endurance and energy and vitality and clarity. I like to be able to meet with any challenge at any time that I want to meet, and even the ones that are on the edge of what I want to meet. If it's important and I'm inspired and enthused and present, I'm grateful, I'm certain. And especially if I'm certain that this challenge is the one that I want to meet. And what I'll have to do, I'll train with myself first, train with my son, train with the best trainers that I can imagine having, amazing tools, having amazing nourishment, having amazing intake, output, energetic, everything to optimize this body, including lots of natural sunlight. So I can be with whatever I want to be with, and just noticing the symptoms that come out just to remind me, oh, how am I off track right now? How am I not looking at the symptoms as good as bad, but rather, what is it trying to teach? What would I like to have? I like to have a body that is sought after, that's desired by many women. And then recognizing I only want to act on the women that I want to be with, especially my beloved and whoever enhances our relationship and enhances the deepening of real intimacy, connection, authenticity. And I want to have experiences with my body that push me to the edge, that put me in mortal danger or dying. And there'd be some places where not even only realize I'm in mortal danger. And I like to be able to have the experience as close as possible and virtual whenever it's required to make more accelerants possible. So that's taking a look at all the 7 areas, I think. There's still some vagueness of it and balancing that energy for spiritual certainty, clarity, and learning. Okay. Making it clean and clear, growing $10,000 plus per month for investing. So this is a good piece right now. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for the first draft of the love list. I'm really glad I did this dictation. I realized halfway through that that's part of how I do things. And then my affirmations are words of power. So, read them at least daily and possible 3 times daily. Consider burning or stamping them on CD onto your phone or iPad. Okay. Update these 3 items on your computer, iPad, or phone whenever I have refinements in the form. Okay. We're going to focus on ever finer details and to chunk down larger, difficult projects. Okay, so for part of this for me, it's going to be another morning. This first morning is actually just going through it at least. Is to start typing some of this stuff out. Like maybe every day type one of them out while I'm also just reading them out as well. Okay. Write down and type the 7 highest priority action steps that I can take this day that will help me make my purpose, love list, and affirmations come true. All right, so let's see here. Oh, what is this first? So the affirmations. Let's see these ones. I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. I'm a master reader. Whatever I read, I retain. I'm a master of persistence, and I do what it takes. I do what I love, and I love what I do. I'm inspired, I'm enthused, and I'm powerful. Whether I am being supported or challenged, I'm grateful for. I know that both are simply feedback mechanisms helping me fulfill my mission on earth. I am a conscious teacher, guide, facilitator, lover, father, husband, and I am present with each and every moment of life. I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. Okay, so I'm going to keep writing more and more statements there. Feel what I love, write what I love. Chunking things down. So I was chunking down the founding of Ohana Sage, the founders, which we've done a lot of that, vision, purpose, values, website, clients, and back end. So there's still more important things to chunk down into, but okay, so these are the questions to ask every day. 7 highest priority daily actions, keeping in mind the following 7 quality daily questions. What would I absolutely love to do in life? I'd absolutely love to be delivering. I'd love to actually start first, stay with this. First, be receiving and stepping into that spiritual quest, that map of consciousness. This work, the magic mirror work, having this time every day to look at stuff and play and noodle and explore. Having time every day, ideally, to be with my loving, amazing family, especially my biological family and then Ohana. And then actually creating a business that's easy, lucrative, fun, delivering what I want to deliver. Like whether it's a breath work, whether it's a ceremony, whether it's a teaching, whatever it is that day, and also building the structures to make it easier, lucrative, and fun. And then looking at and continue to build the structures for the financial wealth, the generational wealth. So those are the things that I'd absolutely love to do in life right now. And amongst all that, I'll have wonder and play and be able to travel and be and wake up at different places and be like, oh my God, this is where I'm waking up today. This is so cool. This is so cool. How do I become handsomely and beautifully paid to do it? So there's both the current, which I think is creating something that's so certain and clear and of high value that people who are ready to invest, those creators of the next thing, are willing to invest in this $10,000 plus program, whether it's for themselves, for soul, immersion, whether it's part of the retreat for Backcountry Enlightenment X Camp, whether it's what we're creating next. And then having the second part, having this really expansive Ohana breath that's touching lots and lots of people. And then also collaborating with people I want to collaborate with, possibly even the DeMartini team to deliver what I can deliver within the context of someone else's container. I'm already doing that with my dear friend Judy, and it's amazing. It's so much fun. And just saying yes to those opportunities, yes to those ones right now, even if there is no income, but there's a practice, there's something that's actually growing out of it. What are the 7 highest priority action steps that I could complete today that would enable me to do it? So number 1 really is recording this video. Number 2 is actually getting clear on the goals, so getting clear on the expansiveness. Number 3 is probably sharing some of this with Iris, especially, and with the founders, Matt and Marika. Number 4 is just playing with my family, just playing with them. Number 5 is taking a look at the things that I've been putting aside and chunking it down a little, whether it's the decluttering or the financial aspects. Number 6 is replying to the key people that I want to reply to create what's next. And then number 7 is just taking really good care of this body today. Being restful, being mindful of it all. What obstacles might I run into today, and how do I solve them in advance? So I post a big course. I have a lot of excitement and a lot of crashing. So solving in advance is writing things down and then letting it go. Like getting to where I can today and resting as much as I need to. Over and over again, finding a place, okay, if I need to rest, then go rest. I need to rest, go rest. Enjoying the sunshine, getting out in the sunshine. So when I'm stuck, getting out in the sunshine. When I feel overwhelmed, getting in the sunshine. When I feel tickled, my new word for triggered, getting out in the sunshine. What worked and didn't work today. So for me, getting up with my cat at 2-something, getting woken up, feeding him, then being tired, but noticing the heat in my body and then trying to lie back in bed, that wasn't the best way to do things. It's like feeling the heat in the body and saying, okay, what can I do to actually acknowledge, rest, and take care of this heat in the body? And part of it is coming down here and I can feel the heat still, so I'm gonna work a little bit more. But once I feel it cool down, it's like, all right, do I wanna go up and do an enema to clear out all the junk I've been putting in my body? That's probably a good part of it. Do I want to take a look at what's next? Do I want to just sleep? We'll see. And how did whatever I experienced today, whether it's positive or negative, serve me? And that's a reminder again today. It's how do I start actually doing the DeMartini method on all the different things I want to discharge, right? I'm noticing that I discharged big resentment that I've been holding on to and seeing the positive sides of it really. And it's not that I didn't know that they were there already. What I can see, this is bringing it to the surface, like, giving some air to breathe. And as I keep doing that, I can notice that it can come up to the surface easier and easier and faster. And I can get more clear on this method. And as I get more clear on this, I can help guide other people more clearly. So a big part of my life has over and over again, how do I do the thing so I can get more clear, so I can guide other people more clearly? And I forget that. And sometimes, including things that I've done regularly, whether it's the meditation, whether it's the eating, whether it's the enemas, whether it's the breath, whether it's the ceremonial work, whether it's the coaching work, whether it's even being in the medical system, right? Like part of it why I can guide people through and be really good patient advocates, because I've been there for so friggin' long. And then just recognize it's a wealth of information that I have there. And then part of it, what makes me sometimes a good teacher or tutor is like, oh yeah, I've been through so much of that. And notice just because I have it doesn't mean it's a thing that I love to do all the time. Every now and then when it pops up, it's okay. So noticing that piece. Highest priority action steps. Act on the priorities every day, checking them off as they're accomplished. Determine the hierarchy of my values. Observe what I'm presently calling good and evil. Determine the hierarchy of others' values. Observe what they're presently calling good and evil. Care enough to communicate my values in terms of their values. This will help me sell my way to my dreams. So that's the piece for especially my beloved and I, and then the founders and I, and then Brent and I, to keep communicating our values. and to keep noticing them, represencing them. I'm represencing myself to them over and over again, and then represencing them to it over and over again, and then continue to weave those webs. And that's what Elena tried to share with me. It's like, okay, that's how the teams work. As you start weaving the webs of the values and growing them, it becomes more and more intertwined. And then it's also taking a look at what are the skill sets that are there, but the values being there, so important, so important. Okay. Place a set of the Demartini method forms next to my office desk and her bed to be able to complete one line a day on anyone or anything that pushes my buttons. If I complete one line a day, I'll average at least one full collapse per week, or possibly 52 collapses a year. Wow, I wonder what kind of transformation that would bring. That's really true. Inwardly chant and or outwardly state 3 times a day the 10 daily pillars of wisdom. So, it's funny, he skipped by this heart breathing, and it's just funny that he did that. Because that's not his role. He's not meant to be that person. Be thankful for what I love. I deserve what I would love. Inspired action, loving service, silent presence, grateful prayer, divine guidance, sharing wisdom, caring sincerely, study truths, temperate rhythm, fair exchange. Inspired action, loving service, silent presence, grateful prayer, divine guidance, sharing wisdom, caring sincerely, study truths, temperate rhythm, fair exchange. Inspired action, loving service, silent presence, grateful prayer, divine guidance, sharing wisdom, caring sincerely, study truths, temperate rhythm, fair exchange. Let's see here. If you don't pass on your torch, you don't receive a greater light. Pass this torch to others. Tell them about the breakthrough experience. It is an idea whose time has come. The impact of this idea will be immeasurable. Within this tiny seed lies a mighty oak. You cannot help others achieve what they would love without helping yourself achieve what you would love. The greatest way to pass this torch is to share your heartfelt experience with the ones you love. If you search for perfect love, you'll miss the love you're living. If you search for a perfect world, you'll miss the one you're living in. Faced with inspiring new information that partially challenges your beliefs, you may respond to it in one of 2 ways. You may ignore it and hold on to your former beliefs, or you may embrace the validity of this new information, factor it into your perception of reality, and put it to ever greater use. Okay. So how to get the most? I've gotten back to this page, which I'm on my iPad right now, or my Kindle. All right. Purchasing the Breakthrough Experience support materials, which include Dr. Demartini's other online products and books. Read the Breakthrough Experience workbook over and over again to review and remind myself of the basics of maximizing my potential. Yeah. Attend the Prophecy 1 experience as soon as the next one becomes available. Further expand my physical, mental, spiritual, financial, social, familial, and vocational horizons. Breakthrough experience at least 12 times. Half the initial price. Each time attend, new transformation, lighten the load, quicken the spirit. Imagine having fewer buttons and greater courageous actions in your daily life. Hosting the Breakthrough Experience in my city. Certified teacher and facilitator. Decide where to go. Work with other teachers. Work with Dr. Demartini. Work with Dr. Demartini's trained Demartini method facilitators. Or procrastinate. Okay. So, we're not going to take a look at the next thing yet. It's actually implementing this now. It's actually implementing this now. And there's so much to read. There's so many diagrams, graphs to go over. So let's take a second. Okay, let's take a second and actually be with this mate. Hello, Nick. I just have to speak to the new technology. I got a new Flow 2 Pro gimbal, and it works directly with Apple's built-in video app, but it's definitely not as smooth for its tracking. It's like I can get to the edge and it tracks suddenly. But I really like being able to use the native app. But I don't like that I can't see the audio kind of tracking through, so I know that the audio is working properly. Just turn noise canceling off again. And I'm grateful that it has 360-degree view. That part, super cool. Having a fill light on it would be awesome. And I'm gonna take a look at bringing my own fill light for now, because there could be so many different kinds of fill light. This is definitely not the best. And it's not about absolute visual quality. It's about creating this so it's good enough for now. And then from there, we'll see. Because what I don't want to do is have too much light. And this is shining kind of more directly at me. So this probably isn't the best option for future. I'm going to practice turning on those lights and see if that feels better for me than having this light on now. And although this is much less light. So anyways, let's focus on what's important. I can get distracted. And I'm noticing I can hear the earwax in my ear, which is crazy. So when I was younger, my dad he felt it was important. I know that part. He felt it was important and loving to take out the earwax regularly because it might impact me. And it was one of the things I despised having done the most. Like it was borderline traumatic or challenging. Trusting someone to go in there, remembering that last time there was pain, remembering that there's someone else who really wanted to get it done but not seeing the value in it. And that's probably the piece as well as I got older. What's the value in this? Like truly, what's the value? And is there a downside? Is there truly a downside? And to take a look at that over and over again for things that feel really that painful and challenging. What's the upside? What's the true downside? Or is it a hypothetical downside? And if it's, the possibility of death, then okay, like that's the piece that I'm always there and practicing. It's like, okay, what is it that I need to impart in my son to be like, all right, running in the street, possible death, not so good. Running into a bike lane, possible major harm, not so good. And what things can we embolden? What things can we support? And there's a part of me that doesn't know what to do even with things like having to ride a bike. Because I'm like, oh man, the things can happen faster. Like you got to be even more present. And reminding myself that I'm not here to slow him down. I'm not here to speed him up in a way. I'm here to support him so he's on the edge of challenge and support. And I'm here to be with myself on the edge of challenge and support, not martyr myself. And that's what I'm getting better at. Like these mornings are really good for me to keep getting grounded. Okay, where am I at? And I'm so grateful for my family because they are supporting me to be on the edge of challenge and support. Like they celebrated me finishing this course yesterday and they supported me to be able to do it financially, energetically, emotionally, temporally as well. And amongst everything else, even though I felt like we could have gotten better with the reunion, everything else like that, I'm really grateful for that. Like things are already perfect and I keep looking at how to make them more perfect. And how do I not live in the fantasy of what I think it should have been already, rather than speaking to and guiding myself for a future change? And it's even just like the technology I'm using right now. How do I go from, oh, this technology is what it needs to be, to it's perfect the way it is right now, and it'll keep getting better and better and better. I don't need it to be more than it is right now. I don't need the next level. There's a few things I'd love. I'd love to have a detachable, plate so I can actually snap the shot outside of this device, and that's not the most important thing. I'd like to have even more powerful mics where I can actually see, the feedback in real time that it's actually transmitting, but that's not necessary. And then have the storage inside so that I actually know it's always recording no matter what. And it's not necessary right now. And then I was watching, I think it was Brendan set up from this weekend. I was like, oh, he's got the microphone, he's got the books, he's got all that set up. It's like, got it. He's got where I want to go. And he's been doing this for about 18 years of learning. Fantastic. And he's still coming back to this. Fantastic. And I noticed for myself, how do I be clear that everything is perfect the way it was? And how do I actually give real, honest feedback in a way that may serve? And how do I serve in the ways that I may serve to the best of my capacity? And how do I bring this back to my team? Over and over again, how do I bring this back to my team and my own life, my own self-development, family, vocation, finances? Because if I keep on this horizon, it's inevitable that I can arrive there in my own way. It's inevitable that what I prioritize grows. And I've been through many challenges already. I've been through many lengthy challenges already. The lengthy challenge of medical school and residency, the lengthy challenge of growing up, doing so many things, and having created this foundation of skill set. Like there's a lot of skills there. Music, traveling, eating, cooking, cleaning, studying, learning, teachers, mentors. And there's a lot of habits that I've picked up, patterns that I've picked up that I'm working to unlearn. And in my own unlearning process, being able to help guide others, because that's a big part of it. Like having this level of knowledge, good. Believing that it's the truth and I need to keep holding on to it even when it doesn't make sense, not so good. For example, yes, I would love for myself to keep building up immunity, to keep building up the foundation of health. Do I think that the number one thing that's the most important that I need to hold on to is something that we've developed in the last 100 years that we inject into our body? No. Is that one of the best things that we figured out? Yeah. And if we continue to hold on to that as the truth, and that's what I'm seeing more of now, is like the holding on, the rejection that there could be other possibilities is actually what's keeping us in the way. It's not that we don't already have so many of the solutions. It's how do they actually get implemented? There's so many teachings such as the Demartini method and his ability to break through so many of the traumas and pains. And if these were used more widely and effectively in the populations that could benefit from them, because not everyone is ready to go through this process, what would change? And so it's that balance between how do we innovate? Because that's part of it. Like there's such a thrill, such a reward for the innovation. And then how do we implement? And the implementation is just as important, if not more important in a way. Part of it that Amazon actually just implemented was they implemented 2-day delivery. Like realizing that was something that once you create that, it'll be hard to go back because it feels so good. It's the same with air travel. Now that air travel exists, it's hard to imagine going back. Cars, it's hard to imagine going back to, I can't get that far that quickly whenever I want to. Homes, heat, all these things that create more possibilities. Going back seems unfathomable. Having access to electricity, to internet. And soon it's going to be AI. Soon that's going to be a differentiating thing. Virtual reality seemed like it was going to be one of the things, and virtual reality is an experiential piece. And there is some truth in how you use it, but going from consumption and the focus on driving someone to consume versus the clarity of what you want to help them consume. And if we can actually balance that, because it's not about censoring. It's being clear on what the mission is and not trying to be all things. If the mission is, I want to be a platform to help people connect, then actually help people fucking connect and make some money outside of that or within that, but focus on the main thing. And that's the part where people keep justifying, they have to go after profit, right? It's an easier way to rationalize. versus they have to go after sustainable fair exchange. I do appreciate this term, sustainable fair exchange. And that's for myself to look at as well. So highest priority steps, A is this, B was going through the day, C was deconstructing this with my beloved, spending time with family. I'm just saying these things out loud, the affirmations, the going over the material again, the taking a look at and using the tools. So I'm going to use the tools, probably try practicing using AI to help delineate who are the masters and what are the traits, actions, inactions that I want to highlight. And part of it is, how do we actually have a list of people and default trait, actions, and actions, right? Default list to practice playing with. I like to play with that first. I like these shortcuts because what are the parts that really inspire and get me excited? How do I shortcut the pieces that don't inspire and get me excited and get right to the stuff that does inspire me and get me excited? All right, going through the Breakthrough Experience DRT method, yes. Taking a look at how to clarify traits, actions, intentions, yes. But actually searching them all and studying their lives, actually there's a piece of that. I can see it now and I'm like, fuck. There's so much to do. There's a part of me that gets tired. It thinks about all the future doing and forgetting, how do I make the future doing fun, easy, lucrative, and fun? Prioritizing things over and over again. And these next 2 months, it's really prioritizing, all right, the focus for me, really, if I want to take a look at it, is doing the work that I can do for this company, doing the work that I want to do for this company, and also not trying to rush it because there's so many things that are happening right now in parallel. And continue to learn how to build the systems to prioritize versus how do I just keep creating one-offs, up, down, up, down, up, down. All right, and coming back to the Founders Day. So replying to the Founders is going to be really important today, to take a look at the messages there and reply to them. All right, I'm almost at an hour. And I can stop this relatively soon and then come back to it after doing a little bit of work. Is there anything else right now? And noticing, reminding myself again, magic mirror work for me. Part of my fantasy was I just wanted to come back and be like, I figured it all out. I'm so clear, so crystal clear. Let's drive this train forward. It's so clear. And it is, right? Like I look at that list of how to make the most of this. And if I actually follow it, what's possible? If I start lowering the number of other trainings and things that I'm doing, what's possible, right? And I'm grateful. I signed up for this ClearSight method and then I canceled it because I'm like, this is not the time. There's enough things I'm doing to create the vision. And this course itself has its own jankiness. Every single course has its own jankiness. Once you're invested enough in it, you're invested enough in the jankiness. How do we do it without all the jankiness too? And is that what you want? Like if that's what you want, then that's fantastic. And it's noticing what are your values, right? If that's his value, that's fantastic. But my analogy would be like, it's almost like the microphone feels garbled right now. It literally is garbled. The handwriting is garbled. It'd be great to have AI smooth it out in real time for everyone else. Like that would be a useful thing for AI. Smoothing out his writings in real time for everyone else. Even for himself. Oh my God. That could be a great use for AI. Right? Like it's noticing all these things that are useful because handwriting is important. I would like to have more handwritten notes, but I would also like to have them smoothed out in a way that really serves. And I don't know how that'd be right now. And the question is, will it make people more lazy? It's like, well, maybe, but if their shorthand can actually create the longhand and it makes it, it's all about being able to translate the information from one side to the other. And as long as it's communicating things the way they want to be communicated. It's even right now, like AI could completely alter my voice, alter a word or two. Like it's really interesting taking a look at the implications of AI. Even as I record a video, One word or two slightly changed can change the whole meaning of something. And how are we able to actually verify the transmission of information? And AI could start putting an overlay on top of all these deliverances, even online. It's like, oh, I think I'm delivering something in real time. Capture reminding me, it's like, I'm delivering something in real time, and then interject slightly and continue to deliver it. No one will notice. It's like the blips that are probably happening in the market, the blips that can happen in the systems, because all these systems are based on trust. It's the currency of trust. If you don't trust the system, then what is there? And then looking at, we were talking about this, the moon landing. I just watched Fly Me to the Moon, and what if, and it's funny, this idea is being planted more in the mainstream right now, right? What if the moon landings weren't actually the moon landings we saw? Doesn't mean that we didn't land on the moon. So all these are different questions. Did we land on the moon? Did we broadcast that feed from the moon? Did we broadcast that feed in real time? Is it recorded? What's on the other side? Did we fake the broadcasting in real time of the recording? Is there a real recording? Are we willing to share the real recording? Are we willing to even speak to this? And if we speak to it and it breaks trust, can we just be like, cool, trust is broken? Cool. Most likely, trust is broken in so many ways, unfathomable number of ways, all the fucking time. How often am I lying to myself? How often am I lying to others, if you want to look at it objectively in that way that we look from the judicial system, right? Anyone who says their integrity, it's like, what does that mean? And that's the part that I'm having trouble with, the traits, actions, and inactions, that I'm here for the Demartini method, and that's something to ask about. It's like, okay, what is it? How can I keep clarifying that? That piece wasn't as clear as it could have been. To keep clarifying the trait, action, inaction. Because if you're starting from an unclear trait, action, inaction, then everything else that leads out of it is so much more challenging. Keeps coming back to the foundational aspects. What are the foundational aspects that if people read, if everyone read or prepared or watched, would make you more ready for this course? What's going to be the integration process? How do we get more people more ready? And then have some of the initial guidance be for those that haven't gotten themselves grounded. And that's a piece of it. It's like, how do you create more of the breakthrough experience without having to tax more on Dr. Demartini himself? And have everything that he provides have even more impact. That would be what I would choose. And that's what I'm choosing for my own work now. So I keep seeing this. Okay, how do I make the most impact that I can make? How do I learn the best that I can do? And let go of the rest. And know that it won't be perfect initially, but I'd rather build from that foundation, because otherwise I'm creating so much stuff. And I love that he's like, I could talk for 365 days straight, and I don't doubt him for the amount of stuff he's taken in. I probably could get a good solid week at least of information out there. Solid month, maybe? But it's not as organized as practice, as delivered as he's delivered. That's part of me doing this magic mirror work too. I'm practicing delivering to myself first. That's part of my own secret. And as I keep doing this this way, and then I'm going to add in the Demartini method, trying to do one line a day. And more of it will be these pauses, and people are like, why am I watching this video? I'm like, yeah, why are you watching this video? Why are you not just getting an AI summary of it? And that will come out soon. People will pop out little clips. And then perpetual energy. Like, does it already exist? I give it a 90% chance that we already have some perpetual energy happening on this earth. Where is it? Why is it not more widespread? So many reasons that could be. It's a bit of a cheat code right now. It would change the whole economic system. It would. And it doesn't mean there isn't a utility to the old economic system. I really want us to keep being able to burn stuff. God, having these things such as fire and transmutation is so important. And do we need to keep not exploiting, that's such a loaded word. Do we need to keep doing such massive changes in a certain environment in order to obtain these resources? Ideally, no. Ideally, no. But have we forgotten, especially, oh my God, especially, we're like, oh, we're going to protect this land. No one can do anything. It's like, no. We live in communion with this earth. We're stewards of this earth. And those who want to live in the forest, let them freaking live in the forest and live there really well and keep bringing stuff out. How do we have loggers who really actually want to log, not just see it as a place to get money? Right? If someone wants to cut down trees, like their joy is cutting down trees, I want them to be cutting down trees. And I want them to get the guidance for saying, how do I actually talk to a tree, listen to a tree, and say, hey, do you want to be cut down? It's like working with the animals. How do we work with them and the best farmers? So how do we keep investing in people who really love and value what they do? And that's probably a big part of how to guide the investments moving forward soon. And how to guide myself to work with people. You love what you do, or you think you love what you do. Let's actually guide you to actually be able to do that more. If you're not sure, let's guide you to that. If you're really willing to. If you're really willing to look at what your own values are. Your purpose, your telos. And how do we create a tool that we really want? What is the tool? What are the questions to ask? What are the simple things to have people reflect on? And to keep reflecting on that, because that is something that, if we created something like that this year, would make a huge difference. If we implemented something this year, I mean, the creation of it, it's going to draw from many different things. We could just take a look at which are the areas of life you really want to focus on, right? Even just that is a start. Even just that is a start. And then taking a look at how they all intertwine and interlink. Oh, thank you for that yawn. I could see myself partnering with people right now. So much fun, so much learning, so much strength, so much guidance. I can see how Judy's programs are so meticulously, I'm going to say engineered. In some ways almost over-engineered and over-perfect for my taste. As part of the facilitation, and I'm grateful that I got to be clear how I want to deliver my stuff and still work with different constraints, because it's fun actually then. It's fun for me to be like, all right, how am I going to deliver what I need to deliver in 20 minutes? Or want to deliver in 20 minutes? What am I going to deliver there? Take 3 breaths together. We're going to just start dropping in together. I'm going to start dropping you in with the music in real time and real practice. And part of you may think, I need to figure it all out first. I need to breathe first. I need more time. Just be present with this moment. This moment can feel like infinity. This moment, infinity, school of unlearning, paradox. Those are some key words that I keep bringing in. Wonder, safety, sovereignty, all these key words. How to keep playing with keywords and playing with them and seeing how they want to interweave, intersect. And how to actually systematize, collate, bring together all the information ways. Part of it, hopefully, is that Marika or someone's creating a master plan, a master document of what's actually really good and bringing it together in one place. Whether it's one of them right now, whether it's someone else in the future, I really hope that happens. And for myself, I'd like that too, and part of it may be an AI scraping things together, right? And that's part of it, is using AI for summaries. Not a bad idea right now in this in-between state where they're likely modulated less and likely more giving direct feedback and taking it all with a grain of salt. It's so quick to get a summary. Like, I cannot wait in the future for amazing summaries of books so I can get clear on which books I actually really want to dive into. right? Having a team of people is like, oh, all you have to do right now is read and summarize. And your love of learning can make you money for right now. Fantastic. And then who to interact with, how to create those structures and that hierarchy, hierarchy, interoperability, and learning from, like, I really look forward to learning from Alex Hormozi and Leila Hormozi, business leaders. Like, I can see them as really good business leaders. Daniel Priestley, really good business leader. Upsides and downsides to each one of them, right? And noticing them more. Like, I'm better at not idolizing them, but taking a look at what traits I really want to embody more. That would be helpful. Like, part of Alex's biggest thing is he makes work and play the same thing. And so it's like people like your workaholics, like, I just love what I do. And that's part of it for me. It's just, it's a different kind of love. I love this self-reflection. Love it. Love to do more of these courses, masterminds, learnings, and how to do them, and even more directed in the future. Like, I don't want to do it with just random people in the future. It's kind of like a ceremony. I can see that now. So it's kind of like a ceremony. How do I create these so it's more and more masterminds, or the higher level groups where it's actually already self-selected? And how do I not rush from one to another? That's a big thing for me. How do I make them more bite-sized if I want to as well? So that's part of it. Okay. So. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. How do I deliver in the funnest way possible, the best way possible, my work right here, right now? Just taking that breath. Stopping this video in a minute because I'm going to actually start taking a look at what my founders have said and replying to them. So, a lot of love. Ciao for now.